This is Trend Following Radio, where great thinking comes alive. Nobel Prize winners, legendary traders, best-selling authors, and the pros that know what drive us irrational human beings. I am your host, Michael Covel. Not filtered, raw, honest. That's my passion. I receive emails, lots of emails, from interesting people. Some people get trend following, they know exactly what it is, and those are fun back and forth conversations. However, a lot of people that write me start off with the idea that they know what trend following is. They state this, and then it starts to leak out in their emails that they don't know what trend following is. They have no idea what trend following is. And they've got all these bad ideas. They're talking about consolidations, whatever the hell that means. They're talking about prediction, whatever the hell that means. But the idea of following along the price as a trend following trader, they do not know. Well, let me share with you how I came at this. Let's go back 20 plus years. Not really an internet to do homework on, so to speak. And I found it fascinating that there was this group of traders that you could read about in these performance books. Now, one of these performance books was called the Stark Report. It was about the size of a mid-sized telephone book from back in the day. So that thick, like 2 inches thick, maybe 3 inches thick. And in that report, they would list the month-by-month performance data of traders. And these traders would say what style of trading they were. A lot of trend following traders said they were trend following traders. Other traders would say something else, but when you compare their performance data to trend following traders, you realized that they were a trend following trader too. So even back in the day, there were trend following traders clearly trading as trend following traders, as price-based trend following traders, but they didn't want people to know. It was hidden. Probably some marketing strategy. That's cool. But I found that interesting because ultimately the style of trading trend following was proven by the performance data, meaning what percentage did you make in January, February, March, April, May, June? Was there 3 up months followed by 3 down months, then an up month, and that up month was very big? And then you could look at all these trend following traders around the world, not connected, not the same firm, didn't know each other, and there was a similar performance in similar months. Especially the quote Black Swan months, the 1987, the 1998, the 2002, the 2008, up to today in 2022, an epic trend following performance year. So this was terribly fascinating to me. And it proved something, that regardless of what that trader might say, the performance data said what they were really doing. Now that builds confidence because you look at that as a new person and you say, oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's not talked about on Bloomberg or CNBC. Now, what's really interesting, too, is there was not in this Stark report that had so many traders, hundreds and hundreds of traders, many of which were not trend-following traders. You could see that in their performance. But what was so interesting was the commonality in trend following, but the lack of commonality in the other styles. Meaning trend following seemed to have something. If people from around the world, not connected, are getting similar, not the exact same, but getting similar results, well, that's quite interesting. But on the other hand, if there was some style of strategy where you could only find one person implementing it, and it did not really stand the test of time, perhaps that trader disappeared after a few years, well, that was interesting too. Because now, not only in my own mind here, I'm going back in time, I'm seeing this commonality in trend following, I'm seeing this proof in trend following. But I want to compare trend following to other strategies. And I'm not seeing the proof in that. I'm not seeing the proof. Now, I'm not saying proof doesn't exist. If you're Jim Simons, if you're JP Morgan, you can do speed of light trading that the average person doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell to do or implement. But when it comes down to comparing strategies, there's not a lot of strategies that you can compare. Oh, you can look at mutual funds. Well, great. I've got a basket of mutual funds that are doing the same buy and hold shit. And when the Fed takes the punch bowl away, they go to hell in a handbasket. What kind of strategy is that? It's just trust the Fed strategy. Trend following is not that. Trend following is trying to navigate what the Fed might unexpectedly do. Now, that's cool also. The fact that there is a strategy that can navigate the unpredictable. So these were all the observations that I was making in the 1990s. I just thought this was fascinating. And you can go back and maybe one day I'll go ahead and copy one of these old reports so everybody can see it too. But I'm talking about all the names that are in my books. The Dunn Capital, all the Turtle Traders, David Drews, Campbell and Company, John W. Henry, AHL, which then became David Harding, etc. So it was just so cool to see that. And you could draw some conclusions from it. I like proof. I like performance. Here is proof. Here is performance. Now, what can I derive from that? Not that I just wanted to listen to Bill Dunn say something and trust him because he's a really interesting guy. No. It was, here's the Bill Dunn performance. Here are Bill Dunn's words, and they match up. That's another level of understanding. Because now you've got the performance, now you've got the words. You can essentially see who's lying, who's telling the truth and who's lying. Well, hint, hint, if you listen to my podcast, if you listen to the dozens and dozens of trend following traders that I have selected to talk to on this podcast, well, there's a matchup between their performance and their words. That makes them interesting. That makes them truthful. Now, of course, everybody is going to have a little white lie somewhere in their life. Maybe they're going to have a big dark lie somewhere in their life. But when it comes to trend following, if you can match the words to the performance, now you got something. Now, let me take a little deviation to confusion. I just mapped out my way that I started, my way of understanding. Someone writes me an email. And he names two trading names, quite well-known names. Says Trader A and Trader B are clear on the need to develop my own approach as I grow as a trader. I need to develop my own flavor that matches my skills, knowledge, experience, tools, and life rhythms. But principles of position sizing, risk management, and all the other rules such as not over-optimizing, focusing on price action versus a multitude of insignificant indicators, and limiting losses while letting your winners run won't change. Now, that is a really interesting statement because the second half, I think we can all agree. You have your focus on price action, limit your losses, don't over-optimize, risk management, position sizing. Okay, yes, that's all great. But the beginning of his statement, and I'll read it again, is very important. This individual that writes me says, it's clear that I develop my own approach as I grow as a trader. Now, I wrote this book about the turtles. Now, what was so fascinating about the turtles? What was so fascinating was they had teachers who said, here are the rules, trust the rules, trade the rules, learn something, make some money. Well, it worked. Now, as those turtle traders went out on their own, some of them stayed very aggressive. Some dialed back their leverage, but they were still trend-following traders. They still adhered to the principles and in many instances, the exact rules. So where were they growing as a trader? Okay, yes, you can get into the minutia. They weren't growing to become day traders. They weren't growing to become speed of light traders. Yes, they were refining, perhaps, their trend following approaches, but it was still trend following. And at the end of the day, back to the beginning of this podcast episode, when you look at the month by month performance data, if you want trend following trading, it's going to look similar. So if you change it so much because you're, quote, growing as a trader, growing as an investor, you might end up with a performance stream that looks nothing like trend following. Right, you're seeing what's going on here. Trend following is trend following is trend following. You can massage it on the margins if you want. You can refine things, but ultimately we're talking about a robust trading strategy that has to be allowed to work to take advantage of the unexpected. For example, like 2022. And when I look at a trend following trader like Paul Mulvaney, who's up 135% at the end of September 2022, that's just damn interesting. And look, I've seen this idea that you find a trading strategy to fit your personality. That's about the most squishy thing that I've ever heard. That's just squishy. That's like Dr. Phil Oprah shit. Here's the reality. If you want to be a trend following trader, you be a trend following trader, and you can possibly, if things go the right way, end up with a trend following performance stream. If you want to try to self-analyze yourself and think that there is some way that you can measure your personality, take that measurement, and then bring it inside to your trading strategy somehow or another, a trend following strategy, and then end up with the performance streams that built all of these legends that became the trend following foundation that we've all learned from, that doesn't exist. There is no connective tissue like that. Let me take it a step further. Many strategies, right? That's the idea. There's many strategies out there, and you can just choose from the strategy that you want to choose from because you've got this personality. You're introverted or you're extroverted or whatever bullshit. And you're just going to choose the strategy that feels good to you. How the hell does that work? That was the brilliance of Rich Dennis and Bell Eckhart. The brilliance was they told these, quote, and I say this affectionately, they told these, quote, dumb stumps, here are the rules. Follow these rules. And years later, these students realized, oh shit, this is really smart stuff. Now, maybe some of the, quote, turtle traders did not want to stick with the rules. They wanted to change the rules. And you could see this across all different types of traders. Well, then you end up with something different. You don't end up with the trend following. Again, that's why I like to use Paul Mulvaney or Dunn Capital, these very long track records, as kind of like model examples. Because clearly they're detached from the rest of society. Those operations do their own thing. They don't give a shit about what's going on in the news. They don't give a shit about a bunch of people talking about the personalities. They don't give a shit about all kinds of nonsense that takes place in social media. They stick to their knitting. They stick to their rules. They stick to their discipline. And if that means 3 years of sub-performance followed by 100+% performance, well, that's trend following. That was what I saw when I first saw the Stark Report in the 1990s. I saw variability in performance. I didn't see consistent performance. A guy wrote me the other day. He said, Mike, can you tell me how much money I need to start trading with so I can make, I think he said $1,000 a day or something, or $1,000 a week or $1,000 a month, whatever it was. But in his mind, there was a way to tell the market to give him a certain percentage each month. Okay, we used to have passbook savings accounts. Interest rates have come back a little. But what the hell kind of trading strategy are you going to find that allows you, that guarantees you to make a certain amount of money each month? How did he even think that someone who's involved in the trend following world would have an answer for him that he would like. And then you got to say to yourself, what kind of misinformation world has he been living in that he actually thinks that's possible? And I'm not picking on him because he's not alone. So many people have been fooled into believing all kinds of nonsense. And here we are now, as Kurt Cobain sang in 1990, entertain us. Here we are now in 2022. Go look at a chart of the Japanese yen. Go look at a chart of the Hang Seng Index out of Hong Kong. Hell, look at the NASDAQ. Yeah, all the buy and hold stuff, trust the system. You're at the point right now, you figuratively, where you know you can't trust the system. Now, maybe you have no better option. Maybe you're scared to do anything other than wait for the system to hopefully rebound and fix it all for you. Go take a look at the Nikkei 225 out of Japan, their major stock index. Go look at that puppy. Go look at what that chart looks like since 1989. You think the Japanese trust the system anymore? This is the beauty of trend following. The beauty are the numbers, the performance numbers that result from following certain algorithms. And that's it. It's not exciting. It's cool. It's clever. It's smart. It's brilliant. It's not exciting. If you want exciting, go to Vegas. But if you want something real, where you can have a chance to have more damn money, a chance to survive and thrive in a world, a new world, clearly, where things have changed. I don't know how long the current chaos will continue. Maybe it will continue for a year, 5 years, decades. Who the hell knows? That's not the point. The point is back to the beginning of this episode. The Stark Report, the book that looked like a phone book, to go through and look at the performance data and look at all these trend following traders, unaffiliated with each other, making money, losing money in the same months. Now that is just damn fascinating. And then where are all the other strategies that you can choose in lieu of not choosing trend following? So once you decide your mythical personality, and once you decide, I don't want to do trend following, where is the army of other strategies you can choose? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not silly. I know there are some people out there that have developed internal strategies that are very different than trend following, and they've done exceptionally well with that. But, how the hell does that help you? Trend following can actually help you. There's actually a chance that you can do trend following because of the track records, because of the proof. You can see it. Now, if you read about some random one trader in a book or a magazine article, and you don't know exactly what that trader is doing or has done, if you can't see their exact month-by-month performance data, well, that doesn't help you. It doesn't help you at all. If anything, it's just going to make you more confused, or it's going to make you agitated, or you're just going to long for something that you can't have. Another guy wrote me this morning. He gave me a link to an option trading strategy. He said, "What do you think of this?" I read the rules on the link. I didn't think anything of it. It looked like marketing. It looked like promotion. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I do my share of marketing. I do my share of promotion. But what was I supposed to do with this option trading strategy? I couldn't see any type of historical month-by-month returns. I couldn't compare it to anybody else or any other firm. I'm just left with the hype. I don't know about you, but at some stage of the game, doesn't the hype become just fucking nonsense? Who wants to listen to anyone when their particular strategy that they want to tell you about doesn't have proof? Like a robust proof. A lot of practitioners, a lot of people doing it. and this unique performance stream that stands out. I just wanted to share today some views to get you thinking. In the middle, again, as I repeat myself, in the middle of one of the best trend following years so far ever, 2022, as people are getting decimated around the world by market moves that they were not prepared for because their only strategy was buy and hold, I just want to give some damn inspiration that there is a way to do something better. But to get to that better, you're going to have to let go of a lot of stuff, and you're going to have to train your mind to be a lot more of a critical thinker if you want to get ahead. Because if you just trust the average Joe asshole out there that's telling you about some great strategy, and it's all smoke and mirrors, it's the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. If that stuff lures you in, if that stuff fascinates you, go to Vegas. Go to strip clubs. You're going to have more fun. You're going to lose it all either way you go. So just go to the fun direction. But if you want serious performance opportunity, trend following is something that you must know right now. I see a time when those awake will understand how to make money in up, down, and surprise markets. Whether new trader or experienced, college student or financial advisor, protecting against a crash or just trying to make a lot of money, trend following offers everyone an answer in uncertain times. To get started immediately, send me an email, michael@covel.com. I will send you the right trend following steps to take along with my free video. But if you want to buy and hold, trust the government and trust Wall Street, this is absolutely not for you.